Thank you for such a warm welcome. Now, you've heard a lot about the opportunity, the moment that we're in, and we are excited to talk about it more today. AI presents a once-in-a-generation opportunity to rethink what's possible. We estimate that AI could unlock $2 trillion in economic value for Europe, the Middle East, and Africa by 2030 if we get adoption right. As Google's new president for Europe, Middle East, and Africa, I am committed to helping all of us realize this opportunity. I've spent the majority of my career right here in Europe, despite having grown up in a small town outside of Boston, Massachusetts, in the northeast of the United States. Now, as kids, my brother and I, we were curious about everything. I loved to read and absorb information in every form and format that I could. I remember as an 8-year-old spending literally hours on end devouring information and generating projects on different types of cats, on the solar system, on the absolute best way to make chocolate chip cookies. For my family, insatiable curiosity has always been a core value. And if there's one thing that working at Google over the last decade has taught me, it's that human curiosity is boundless. Search is a real reflection of that. 15% of searches are new every day. They've literally never been asked before. I find that extraordinary, that after 25 years, people are still finding so many new ways to ask questions. We built a knowledge base of billions of facts, providing people with trusted information in the blink of an eye. And AI is allowing us to reimagine both the ways people can ask questions and how we can answer them. We're using AI to rethink the impossible. We're innovating to tackle some of the world's most intractable problems. And yet, search remains our greatest moonshot. AI is supercharging search, and it's reshaping consumer behavior. It's providing help in ways that are ever more relevant without compromising on quality. At Google, we're really going from research to reality every day. Take, for example, Google Lens. It brings the best of Google AI together with the latest computer vision technology, and it allows you to search for what you see. And I'll share a personal example. I've always loved to cook. Recently, I've been trying to perfect this one recipe. It's a lentil soup recipe that my mom makes. Hers is smooth and creamy and delicious. Mine, it was turning out kind of grainy. And I realized I was missing one key ingredient, the perfect blender. Enter Lens. A few weeks later, I was at a friend's house, and she made delicious soup. She served soup that was blended to perfection. So I opened Lens, I took a picture of the blender that was in her kitchen, and a few clicks later, here it is on my own kitchen counter. And the good news is now my lentil soup is delicious too. AI is enabling people to ask questions in entirely new ways, whether it's Lens or Gemini Live or Circle to Search. And while AI mode and AI overviews are also enabling us to provide answers in entirely new ways too. Let's give it a go, starting with my grainy soup. You can see I'm asking the question, and there it is, the AI overview, giving me some suggestions. Very exciting. Now, these new ways of asking and answering questions are creating ever more complex user journeys. On average, we know that consumers interact with more than 130 mobile touchpoints and make over 35,000 decisions every single day. Whether it's safe to cross the road or what should I have for lunch. If you are a marketer today, then the only thing that's predictable is that your consumer is predictably unpredictable. No one person, no one agency, no one campaign can be expected to keep pace. But the good news is that the same AI that powers search, it can power your ad campaigns too, providing a deep understanding of intent and helping you reach consumers. and turn that cycle of scrolling and streaming and searching and shopping into a great moment for your business. Those who embrace AI, they're seeing immense growth. Take Volvo Cars. Through deliberate experiments, Volvo didn't just see growth, they engineered it. First, by exploring the breadth of AI-driven reach, and then focusing on the depth of value-based bidding. Faced with rapidly growing competition in the electric vehicle market, the team knew that they needed to find new ways to reach customers to allow them to scale across 22 different markets in EMEA. Now, instead of running rigidly predefined keywords, they tested whether allowing the algorithm to adapt to the evolving ways that consumers search could unlock hidden potential. Broad Match expanded on generic keywords like electric car and allowed them to tap into over 1 million different relevant searches. And it paid off. The experiment increased leads by 47%. But they did not stop there. They recognized that not all clicks are created equal. They adopted value-based bidding because they knew it wasn't just about clicks, it was about value. They knew a casual browser is different from someone who is ready to book a test drive. They put the test into action with a 3-month A/B test, and Volvo's commitment to innovation paid off spectacularly. They increased their search ROI by 2 times. That is just one example of why we find that marketing is one of the most proven ROI use cases of AI that we have ever seen. And Volvo Cars is a powerful testament to this. The opportunities to connect with curious consumers are more dynamic and more exciting than ever before. By embracing the power of AI in Google Search and YouTube, you can move your consumers from discovery to decision with unprecedented speed and relevance, navigating those complex journeys alongside our consumers. But this is only the beginning. It's been 25 years of search. Wow. And throughout those 25 years, search has continued to innovate, feeding users curiosity and hunger for information. Today, AI makes it easier for businesses to connect with consumers through search, and we know now is the time to rethink this opportunity. Now I'm thrilled to welcome our Chief Scientist of Search, Pandu Nayak, to join me on stage to help us better understand the thinking that continues to drive the innovation and opportunities of search. Welcome, Pandu. Fantastic. Well, we are so thrilled to have you with us here in Dublin today.
Thank you very much.
I want to start with a question that I think is on everybody's mind. In this era of AI, what exactly does search traffic look like? And do I still need a website? Does anyone have that question?
That's a great question, but I do want to first say that this AI moment has been pretty amazing. I don't think it's an exaggeration to say that it's the most exciting time in the last 20 years that I've been working on search. So, and that's saying something because in those 20 years, a lot has happened and we've had a lot of success in this thing. But I do know that there has been concern about what AI means for creators and publishers and websites and so forth. But we see it actually very differently. Right? The first thing to note is that all our research shows that people want to hear from people, right? And this could be trusted institutions, it could be businesses, it could be creators, it could be other people like themselves, right? And I don't think this is going to change. And so people wanting to hear from people on the web and in other online sources, I don't think that's going to change at all. Second, I think the AI moment is actually opening up new opportunities for businesses and sites along the way. So let me give you a concrete example. AI overviews, which you saw a little glimpse of there, is an example of an AI-powered experience. that we have here. And one of the things we are able to do with AI overviews is we find that we can surface a much wider variety of links from a much wider variety of sources as part of the AI overviews experience. And this opens up new opportunities for businesses to connect with users. Furthermore, what we are finding from AI overviews is that when users click through to the links, they actually engage more deeply. They spend more time on those websites. So in a sense, what's happening is that the AI overview is providing a framing for how the user should think about the whatever question they have, and they can make better choices in clicking through and engage more deeply with the sites that they are clicking through to. So that's pretty exciting. The third thing to note is that time and again we've seen that when we make it easy for people to engage with, to ask questions, they ask a lot more, right? And AI is taking this to the next level by allowing people to ask complex questions with nuance and everything. And in fact, AI overviews in particular is proving to be the biggest driver of growth for search, which in its turn creates new opportunities for connecting users to businesses. So I think overall, I think there's a very positive story here to be told on what's happening in this moment.
So it's an incredible moment, and I know we all feel so energized by this opportunity to really supercharge a product that's been with us for so long. You obviously have been working in this space for many years, and I want to make sure we tap into that kind of deep knowledge and insight. Can you help us understand what are some of those core principles that we have at its essence when we think about the developments in search, and how is that now manifesting possibly in new ways as we think about how AI can supercharge search?
Yeah, that's a great question. Our guiding philosophy for building search has always been to make search truly effortless, right? As I noted earlier, the easier you make it for people to ask questions, the more they ask it, right? And AI is really taking this to the next level just by the nature of the technology and the kinds of complex, nuanced questions that people can ask. Now, in addition to this, we at Google have had 25 plus years of really understanding questions of the quality of information, right? And we've had a lot of success building beloved product experiences. I like to say on the side that the most beloved experience of all is the "Did you mean" feature that we introduced 25 years ago. I certainly love it. Yeah. But over the years, we've built a lot of really exciting, beloved experiences. And what this has translated to is a lot of trust. Users trust Google to bring them reliable, high-quality information. And this is not something we take for granted. We work hard every single day to continue to deliver on this trust that people have. And finally, our mindset in building all these things has always been to connect users to content, high-quality content on the sort of the broader ecosystem, right? Because of what I said earlier, people like to hear from people, and that's just not going to change. So how's this playing out in our sort of upcoming products and where we're going? The first thing is we have really strongly bet on this idea of AI-powered discovery. I touched upon it with AI overviews about how AI is helping us users ask better questions, and we're able to expand the set of sites that people can visit. It's really proving to be a very powerful way of getting users to discover a lot more content. The second big theme that we are seeing is around multimodality. These Gemini models are natively multimodal, and they're really breaking down the barriers between text and images and video and audio and things. And that's allowing us to build in search really exciting new use cases. So for example, you can point your camera at a scene and ask a question about what's going on in the scene with your voice, right? So multimodality in this way. On the output side, it's allowing us to build really interesting user experiences. So for example, you go in to a restaurant with a menu in a foreign language, you point your camera at it and you ask it to translate it into your language, and boom, it translates it, but then it renders it back on the image so you see it all in context, right? So all of these really interesting experiences are things that multimodality is going to allow us to do. And then the third thing is search is just going to become more agentic. That is, it's going to help you get things done, right? So not just about retrieving information, but actually doing the reasoning and things to actually let it get things done. So again, thinking about a natural experience you might have, you might want a restaurant reservation for a large group with kids where the menu has vegetarian options. So seems like a very natural thing that you might want to do. And now we're working on getting search to be able to handle questions like this, to actually go out to restaurant sites and figure out their current availability, do the reasoning to say, is it kid-friendly, does it have vegetarian options, and then when you're ready to pick it, to go off and actually make the reservation for you. So lots of exciting things on the horizon here.
It's super cool. I mean, I think what I hear from what you're sharing is that as AI helps us be more helpful, whether it's different modalities or kind of different pieces of information, we can help you connect more complicated questions. People are searching more, which is, I think, fundamentally what we're seeing. I think the most important insight that I really take away from the launch of AI overviews is that as people use them, it actually encourages them to search more, and most importantly, they're more satisfied with the results, which I think is, as I understand it, sort of a guiding principle of how we know a launch is successful, because people give us that signal of satisfaction.
That is absolutely the strongest signal of satisfaction when people use you more.
It's fantastic.
But we've talked a lot about these things, but would you like to see some of these
Should we see some of these in action? What do we think? Yeah? Okay.
Yeah.
Do we have someone who can help us demo?
So I'd like to invite Megan Chan to the stage.
Woo!
Hi, Pandu. Hi, Debbie. Hello, everybody. It's great to join you, and I'm eager to dive in and share some of Search's latest innovations with all of you. So, Debbie, it was great to see how AI overviews helped you make the lentil soup just like your mom. And like your Blender search, sometimes the most intuitive way to search might actually be with an image. So with Google Lens lets you search with your camera, an image, or a screenshot. So let's take a look. A great example of this is if you see a yummy treat in a social post like this, but you don't know what it is. So with Circle to Search, you can instantly query anything you see on your phone. You just circle, highlight, scribble or tap any image, video, or piece of text, and look, we get a great AI overview identifying it as matcha Mont Blanc, a Japanese take on a classic French dessert. And just like what it did for Debbie when she tried to make that lentil soup, it also tells us more, right? The pastry's origin and ingredients, and it has links to articles on things like what it tastes like, all for you to explore more. Quickly get the info you need, and then get right back to what you're doing.
You know, the Circle to Search in my mind is one of those beloved product experiences that I mentioned. You can see how simple and natural it is. It's sort of like the digital analog of what you might do with a friend, where you point at something and say, what is that? And that's what Circle to Search is doing. And people are loving this, right? And particularly young people, our Gen Z audience, the 18 to 24 audience, they're just loving it and are using it a lot in their work.
Yeah, I mean, Circle to Search, amazing. 10%, I think, of searches that Gen Zs are now making are starting with a Circle to Search. So certainly getting a lot of popularity.
Now, the reason we can do this is because of the multimodality that I mentioned. In the past, the way that Lens worked is it essentially brought up similar images for you, right? But here you can see how when you did that circle to search, the model was able to figure out what it is that you were looking at, the specific dessert in this case, and then bring up an AI overview for that particular dessert, right? And so this is multimodality in action that's going on. Now, AI overviews has been super successful, and as a result, what we're finding is our power users have wanted AI responses for a lot more of their questions. And so earlier this year, we introduced what we call AI mode as a lab in the US, right? And AI mode essentially allows you to ask much more complex and nuanced questions with follow-ups for those questions along the way. And that's been really successful in the lab. And so just earlier this week, we've started rolling out to everyone in the US. Shall we take a quick look at AI mode in action, Megan?
Yes, well, we need to think of a more nuanced question, and I know you've recently become a good sleep aficionado.
Indeed, indeed. Ever since I read a book by Matthew Walker called Why We Sleep, I've really prioritized sleep in my life. And as part of that, I acquired a Fitbit to track my sleep at night. But then the other day, I noticed a friend of mine wearing a sleep ring. And I thought, what's the deal with that, and how does it differ from my sleep tracker? And then I heard something about a sleep mat. Like, what's the deal, Megan?
Well, that's a great question, so let's find out. So in AI mode, I would type in, what's the difference in sleep tracking features between a smart ring, a smartwatch, and a tracking mat? And using advanced multi-step reasoning, the model breaks down my question and runs a series of Google searches on them, showing links to various reviews about them. It then knows how to organize and present the answer in a way that's easy for me to understand, just like this comparison table with pros and cons. And it also gives me a recap of the information with links to explore across the web. So it was interesting that the sleep tracking mat could actually track your heart rate, which made me curious to follow up with a new question. So what does happen to your heart rate during deep sleep? Does anyone know? Well, AI mode will carry over the context from my previous question to help me easily follow up. And I can continue asking questions and continue to discover more.
So you can see in this example, one of the techniques we use, we call it the fan-out query technique to generate this answer.
Tell me, what does that mean exactly? The fan-out. We're all familiar with the fan-out query technique, anyone? Tell me more, Pandu.
So the idea here is when you come to search regularly, you type in your query, and we issue the one query to search. But what AI mode in this case is doing is it takes your sort of more complex, nuanced question, does some reasoning about what are the subtopics that are actually relevant to that question, and under the covers, it issues a whole set of queries so that it can get a comprehensive view of what is going on. And then it gets back responses from all of these different queries and constructs the response that you saw here. So you get both a breadth of information on what you're looking for, but a sort of more in-depth information on the various subtopics. So that's pretty cool.
I think one of the things that's amazing about that is I know one of our big focus areas is around latency and how quickly it can do this.
Yes, we've had to, you've absolutely put your finger on it. We've had to do a lot to make this all work as fast as it does.
Which is incredible.
Right? And that's continuing to improve. Now, AI mode also gives you access to real-time information from the knowledge graph because, it's got these fan-out queries, so one of those queries can go off and get you sports scores, weather, and whatnot, and this can be sort of folded into your response. But the other thing is AI mode is also, and search in general, is just getting more agentic, right? It's helping you get things done. So to give you a concrete example, I'm a big sports fan, and I love to go to sporting events with my friends and family. But getting tickets for these events is, shall we say, a bit of a chore. And we're soon going to be able to help you find those tickets. Do you want to give us a little preview of that, Megan?
Yeah, let's give it a try. So let's say I'm back in the US and I'm visiting some friends in Cincinnati, and they love their local baseball team, the Reds, and we need to get some tickets for this weekend. So in AI mode, I am going to type find 2 affordable tickets for this Saturday's Reds game in the lower level. Search kicks off that query fan out, looking across several sites to analyze hundreds of potential ticket items, doing the tedious work of filling in forms with all the criteria I asked for. And it puts it all together, reasoning across the results to analyze real-time pricing and inventory. Then, right here, task complete. I get great ticket options with helpful context so I can make a more informed decision. Looks like these seats right here have a good view and at a reasonable price. Search helps me skip a bunch of steps, linking me right to finish checking out. Tickets secured. So coming soon to labs in the US, Search will help with tasks just like this, starting with event tickets, restaurant reservations, and appointments for local services.
Wow.
Thank you very much, Megan. And I hope all of you enjoyed the little glimpse into these exciting new experiences that we have in store for you.
It really is incredible. I have to say, AI Overviews, I know, is one of the biggest improvements we've made to search in the last 20 years.
Indeed,
So you must be incredibly proud of the progress we're making, particularly at this moment, to bring the power of AI to make search even more relevant for users.
Absolutely.
Amazing work. Thank you, Pandu. Thank you, Megan.
You.